Welcome back to a new episode of Master Your Marriage. We're back from holiday mode and Santa's workshop is officially closed.
Yes, we're back in the hot seat today.
Yeah. And as we've been prepping and planning for 2026, we've had a couple of thoughts.
We have. Over the weekend, Robert had some project that he was finishing up in the shop, out in his wood shop. And as he was doing that, I had the urge to go through the house. And as I usually do right after Christmas, I had the urge to go through and purge all the clutter. I took down the Christmas tree and all the Christmas decorations. I emptied out the living room completely down to 0 in the living room and started putting it back together again. I posted a bunch of stuff up for sale on Facebook Marketplace. I even pruned all my plants, all my indoor plants, and started cutting them all back.
Yeah, it was a scene. I came in just from the workshop once or twice and I walked in. I'm like, whoa.
Yeah.
Everything's gone and
I was sick of all the clutter. Yeah. Couldn't stand it anymore. It's out. Yeah. It's out of here. And then when I walked out into our living space this morning, it just felt so fresh and new. And I don't know about you, but the decluttering process just brings me so much peace and order, and I feel more inspired. I feel more productive. I just love that feeling. And that got me thinking about our beliefs and how our beliefs can become clutter in our mind. So what's interesting about beliefs is that when we are stressed or we're anxious, we're more likely to pick up on beliefs or values or goals that we come in contact with, whether that's from other people or friends or family or even things we see on the internet, right? So if I am anxious about my body, for example.
Well, it's the first of the year coming up. Everyone's anxious about their body.
Totally.
That's what the world is
we just went through Christmas cookie season. Yeah. So, then I turn to Instagram and it says, hey, I need to become a carnivore. Oh, well, I'm on it. I'm running off to the local butcher to buy half a cow, but not really, actually, but you get the idea.
Yeah, I love you're going to buy half a cow for the girl that's half a vegetarian.
Half a vegetarian and not so much anymore, but I do love my vegetables.
But still, and you know how it is. If you've got a friend who's like, hey, you know what, this year I'm going to work on my bench press, or I'm going to work on this goal, or I'm going to be training for a triathlon, whatever those maybe physical goals are, you start to just put yourself in the same category. You're like, maybe I should be doing that.
Mm-hmm.
And the internet, the world is amazing at marketing to us. Millions of products and lots of gurus and services that solve all these anxious concerns that we have in our mind. In fact, it's pretty mind-boggling to think about how our economy is built on serving this need for when people feel uncertain about their choices, their parenting, maybe their appearance, their golf game, or whatever it is. And what people don't realize is that the higher our own anxiety, the more quickly we sort of begin to collect these ideas and beliefs and solutions, and we add them to our own repertoire of things that we want to do without much thought. We just sort of plug it in because we're anxious and we're looking for a solution. As one of our favorite authors, Kathleen Smith, writes, we become borrowers instead of builders of our own thinking. That's what makes this time of year such a great time to reflect and to revisit these beliefs that we've accumulated and decide which ones are actually serving us and which ones are potentially causing us to function suboptimally. Maybe our minds have been cluttered with ideas and beliefs that were never really ours to begin with, but maybe we borrowed them. These beliefs, in fact, may be preventing us from having the lives and the relationships that we really want to have.
So perhaps this is a good time of year to stop and ask yourself, what beliefs have I collected without much thinking? This could be many areas of your life, from relationships to health to spirituality to parenting. But the beliefs that we really want to focus on today are your beliefs around marriage. And in today's episode, we will invite you to analyze these beliefs within yourself and decide which ones don't reflect your best reasoning or your best self. And here's why this really matters. What you believe about your marriage is your marriage. Your beliefs create your reality, but they don't need to become self-fulfilling prophecies. You can change your beliefs. You can replace them with a healthier, more supportive belief.
So what we're going to do is we're going to challenge 14 destructive beliefs that are commonly held about marriage that can clutter our minds and create misery. These often operate, we'll call them unconsciously, especially under stress. We will tend to default to some of these beliefs that we picked up. And for each of these, we will deconstruct the belief and provide you with an alternative belief that you may choose to adopt to help you in that situation. Now, as we go through these, you may catch yourself saying, I don't really believe that. But here's the thing. A person can know that beliefs are not true, and they can still act as if they are true when their stress level goes up. So as you listen to these, start noticing and reflecting about how you react and act under stress. If it aligns with one of these beliefs, it's probably something that is lurking around unconsciously. But as you declutter these beliefs, it will open up space for a more collaborative partnership and a stronger relationship. All right, here we go. Starting with number 14, we're counting down all the way to number 1.
We're counting down the year.
It's a countdown
it's
for
a
the end of the year.
year-end countdown.
Yeah.
Okay. So starting with number 14, the belief is my spouse should make me happy or my spouse should complete me. Is that true? No. So why is this belief faulty? Because studies on the locus of control show that an external locus, which means blaming or making others responsible for our happiness, actually correlates with lower marital satisfaction. But if we have an internal locus of control, which is where we are responsible, we own our own emotional well-being, that predicts higher satisfaction and more stability in our relationships. So whether we're doing this consciously or unconsciously, whether we have this belief that our partner is responsible for our happiness, it creates dependency. And this is inevitably going to create resentment when disappointment arises, which it will. A better belief would be my spouse is a companion in my happiness, but I am responsible for my own emotional well-being.
All right, number 13. If they really loved me, they'd know what I want without me telling them.
I hear that a lot.
We've heard this one?
A lot.
If he just loved me, he would just know what I want. It was true love.
Yes.
That's my favorite one. If it was true love,
they would just know what I need.
They would just know what I need. I mean, I'm sure I don't need to talk about why this belief is faulty, but I'll just put it out there for those of you who may still be questioning it. Your partner can't read your mind.
Yeah.
And there's been some research on mind reading expectations that shows that unspoken expectations lead to a more combative response and awesome, as you would think, withdrawal when unspoken expectations are unmet. This makes conflict management more difficult than it really needs to be. And it really leads to greater unhappiness in the relationship. There's no evidence supporting the idea that humans are reliable mind readers. This is why explicit communication is so very important and actually linked to healthier and happier outcomes. One of my favorite quotes is unspoken expectations are premeditated resentments. Or
I love that quote.
A disagreement that's been kicked down the road.
Exactly.
Yeah. So an alternative belief, which should be simple, but must be said. Love includes clear, kind communication about my needs and my feelings.
So important. But often this is such a common one, actually.
It really is, yeah.
Yeah. So number 12, belief number 12 that we can throw out in the trash here at the end of 2025 is that a happy marriage means we never fight or have conflict.
Oh, I dated that girl.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a little dangerous.
And if you've listened to our show before, you already probably know why this is a faulty belief. But John Gottman's longitudinal studies found that happy, stable couples have conflict just like miserable couples. So whether your relationship is a successful one or it's an unsuccessful one, you will have conflict. The only difference between those who stay together happily and those who end up divorced or miserable is how they manage conflict. Not whether they have it or not, it's how they manage it, which includes how they repair, how much positivity they can maintain during those conflict moments. So Gottman also discovered, and this is really interesting, that even successful couples, 69% of their problems are perpetual and unsolvable. What that means is they continue to fight over and over again, decade after decade, about the same issues. But they fight well. And they continue to dialogue. Even though those same fights come up over and over again, they still continue to dialogue about those issues rather than just shutting down and avoiding those topics.
Absolutely.
Conflict is inevitable. So an alternative belief to replace that with is that conflict is an opportunity. It's an opportunity to understand each other better, to love each other better, and to grow closer through repair, because that's where all the magic happens. It happens in repair.
Absolutely. Okay. Number 11, my partner should change, and that would then fix all of our problems.
Oh, you should change.
Yeah.
You should be the one to
change, and this will fix all the problems.
Yeah.
Why this is faulty? Well, there was a large scale analysis over 11,000 couples that showed relationship satisfaction is driven far more by one's own perceptions. So how you feel about the relationship than actually your partner changing if the partner were to change. When you feel like your partner is fully invested, when you notice and feel thankful and grateful for the things that your partner does, when you feel happy with your physical connection, you are then happier. But when you turn your attention to the ways in which your partners need to change, what they're doing wrong, this creates a cycle of blame. And this leads to defensiveness, which, if you follow the show for any time, you know that is one of Gottman's 4 horsemen, which is a predictor for divorce. An alternative belief to this: I can only change myself. Leading by example often invites positive shifts in my partner, but those shifts are up to them.
I love that. I love that. Those shifts are up to them. But I can still lead by example. I can still be the best version of me, regardless of what the other person does. And that may or may not inspire them to make shifts.
And sometimes that's the best advice that we give couples when we're coaching, is just, if the one partner doesn't want to change, you say, you just have to be the best person in this relationship that you possibly can be. And sometimes in some instances, that is just the thing that moves the other partner just a little bit.
All right. Continuing our countdown with number 10, disparate sexual desires means that we're incompatible or that something is fundamentally wrong with our relationship.
Nope.
So this is one that, though, even though we know it's not true, it sneaks up on a lot of couples. One partner wants intimacy more often than the other partner, and then suddenly it feels like proof that you're not right for each other. Maybe you even start to think, oh, well, if we were really compatible, then we would both want it at the same time, the same amount, in the same way. But here's why this is faulty. Marriage therapist David Schnarch points out in his work on intimacy that in literally every long-term relationship, there is a higher desire partner and a lower desire partner when it comes to sex. Every single relationship.
And it's not the gender role that you think it would be.
Not always. It's not always, the stereotypical men want more than women. Not at all.
Yeah.
I mean, it can be 50-50 actually. And having a higher desire partner and a lower desire partner, this is not a flaw in the relationship. It's not a sign of incompatibility. It's just a normal human variation.
And these roles aren't even fixed, right? The person who's the lower desire partner in this relationship might be the higher desire partner in a different relationship, or even you flip roles years down the road in the same relationship. And there's lots of things that can lead to these types of changes. Stress, illness, health, life changes, whatever they are. Oftentimes these things can and will change in a relationship.
That's right. Sexual differences aren't necessarily problems that you need to solve, and they're definitely not proof that you picked the wrong person. They're actually the exact place where couples can turn to grow and find deeper intimacy. So when you can stop seeing mismatched desire as a defect and start seeing it as an invitation to grow yourself and to know both you and your partner deeper, then things will begin to shift. So let's look at a better belief. What would be a more healthy belief? That would be that differences in desire are completely normal. That would be a better belief.
Yeah. All right. Number 9. And this applies to all of us, by the way. Keeping score of who does more is fair and necessary.
I don't think so.
What do you think? No?
No.
All right. Let's be honest. We've all done this. We've let this belief sort of sneak in and permeate our relationships mentally in some way. We're sort of taking a tally like, well, I did this and they need to do that, or I've done more of this than they have done. Who initiated sex last? Whatever those would be. But keeping score, no surprise to our listeners, has been shown in the research to breed resentment as it turns couples into competitors instead of teammates. I mean, we're on the same team. So why is this belief faulty? Well, scorekeeping breeds resentment, it lowers satisfaction, and increases our divorce risk. Sort of reminds me of this thing I saw on Instagram, and it is a Christmas season. It was sort of the husband putting up the tree, and the wife says, my husband has absolutely no idea what I got the kids for Christmas, but he does know about, and he gave a list of things like when the mortgage payment is due and all these. And the bottom line I thought was perfect was same team, different players.
Yeah.
Same team goal. We're here to win a championship. We just have different roles within the team.
Exactly. So don't keep score.
Yeah, don't keep score.
All right.
We win together. That's the score.
That is
we win or
right.
lose in our relationship together. That is the score.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. All right. Number 8 in our countdown. My spouse is responsible for my emotional reactions.
I love that. Oh, you made me so mad.
We hear that all the time though, right? It's your fault that I'm this way. It's tempting to be like, you made me so mad. It's your fault that I'm angry. It's your fault that I'm reacting. It's your fault that I'm acting out. But Bowen family systems theory shows that the more we own our own emotions, which they call differentiation. We've done some episodes on differentiation. The healthier and less reactive our marriage becomes overall. So when we blame our partner for our reactions, for our feelings, it keeps us stuck in anxiety and that fusion word that we talked about earlier. So a better belief would be, I am responsible for managing my reactions. I am responsible for managing my emotions.
I love the thing that you said there, and it was sort of back just a bit, and it leads to a happier, less reactive relationship or marriage. Isn't that something we all would want, was a less reactive relationship?
100%.
All right, number 7. We're on our countdown. True love means we're total agreement on every single thing.
We agree with everything, don't we?
Oh,
you agree with me
not.
on everything.
No.
No?
Not even close. And if I don't say anything, it's because I don't agree with you. All right. This is one of the beliefs the most who would say, like, well, yeah, I don't believe that. Of course. But our actions might say otherwise. How easy is it to get dysregulated when our partner has a different set of ideas on any given issue than we do? This happens all the time. And the reality is differences are inevitable. We are completely different people. And when we try to force agreement, it actually stifles our partner's individuality. So why is this a faulty belief? Well, this is self-evident, but happy couples actually disagree on 69% of the issues in their relationship. That happens all the time. They manage those disagreements. Success comes from making room for our differences, not forcing agreement in all things. Forcing agreement leads to this pseudo-harmony, which is really just resentment in disguise.
Yeah, I love
An
that.
alternative belief that we might want to adopt. We can disagree respectfully while staying connected and managing harmony.
Countdown, number 6.
Number 6.
If I try harder, then they will finally appreciate me and they'll change.
That's my abandonment talking.
This is the classic. If I just try harder, if I'm just nicer, if I just do more, submit more, sacrifice more, then the other person will do blank, whatever it is that you want them to do. And this is also known in Bowen theory as over functioning.
Yep.
So why this is faulty is that when one person is over functioning, it enables another person to under function. And this results in, of course, resentment, especially by the person who is over functioning. Bowen theory describes this dynamic of over functioning and under functioning as a fused dynamic, that word fusion again, that causes burnout on one side and it causes entitlement on the other side. So a healthy relationship, this would be a better belief system, would be that a healthy relationship is one where there is collaboration of effort, not one-sided sacrifice.
On the countdown, number 5, criticism and contempt, or me just being honest because people need to hear the truth. Or my favorite one, bro, I'm just keeping it real.
Just keeping it real.
Just keeping it real.
Ouch.
Yeah, ouch. This belief hurts more relationships than it has ever helped, hurts more friendships than it has ever helped also. And here's why. And have you heard us talk about the Gottmans before? Gottman research can predict with over 90% accuracy which relationships will end up divorced. And no surprise, contempt is the strongest single predictor of divorce. Criticism attacks character rather than giving feedback about the behavior, and contempt adds disgust. And what do we want to do with things that disgust us?
Blech. Throw it away.
We just want to get rid of them. We want to throw it away.
Trash.
We want to ignore it.
Yeah.
We want to minimize it. We want to marginalize it. Feedback is okay, but criticism and contempt are never okay. And they are the top predictors of relationship dissolution, with contempt being the strongest single predictor. Both erode love, both erode trust faster than just about anything else. An alternative belief. There's nothing that harshness will do that loving firmness can't do better.
That's right. Number 4, almost there. A little jealousy or a little control isn't so bad. I mean, it kind of just shows I care, right?
I think maybe we thought that.
This is one that on the surface is obviously untrue, and it rings as untrue as you hear it. But interestingly, when I look back at the early years we were together, I never would have thought that I believed this, but my actions definitely said otherwise. And I think we often do that. We often frame certain things in certain ways to delude ourselves a little bit. We frame control in a way that can convince us that it's okay. We can frame it as passion. We can frame it as, this is how I feel safe. Or we can frame it as, hey, I'm just trying to do the right thing and get you to do the right thing. But research is clear that controlling behavior leads to lower satisfaction in a relationship, and it leads to higher conflict. And this is faulty because two of the most important, powerful human drives are the urge to control our own lives, also known as autonomy, and also the urge to be in a relationship with another person, which is attachment. And one of the biggest tasks in adulthood is being able to balance these two drives. And the common problem is having too much of one and not enough of the other. So when we're trying to control our partner, what does it do? It takes away their autonomy, which is, again, one of their greatest human drives. And this possessiveness of trying to control the other person erodes trust. So the better belief would be trust and freedom are the foundation of deep love and secure attachment.
I like that. All right. Number 3, marriage should stay the same. Our relationship should stay the same as it was when we fell in love.
Mm-mm.
Right. Life changes. And as it does, we need to change. Our values change. Our priorities change. Life changes everyone. And expecting a relationship to stay frozen in the honeymoon phase really just sets us up for disillusionment.
It does.
So why is this belief faulty? Because expecting things to never change ignores life's evolution. Carol Dweck's mindset research shows that having a fixed view on love predicts dissatisfaction in a relationship, whereas couples with a growth mindset adapt and evolve together in their relationship. So an alternative belief is marriage is a journey of ongoing growth where we evolve together through intentionally updating our love maps of each other.
So important. I mean, I think we told that joke one time, like, hey, if I told you I loved you when we got married, but if anything changes, I'll let you know. And it's kind of like the same thing. We have to continue to stay updated on each other's lives and what's important to each other and what our values are and what our goals are and what our dislikes are. We are constantly changing.
Yeah, absolutely. And if we ignore that, then
We grow
we're
apart.
sort of one person's evolving past. And that's where we come to this we've grown apart phase.
Number 2,
Coming up.
if it's hard, it means we're not right for each other. I've heard this actually a lot. It should just be easy. If it's not easy, I see this actually on Instagram a lot. I hear people say, if it's not easy, we're probably just not meant to be together. And I could not disagree more. Every long-term couple hits challenging seasons in their relationship. Gottman's data shows that, again, happy and unhappy couples have roughly the same number of perpetual problems. Couples go through job losses, financial setbacks, grief, loss, all the things. The difference is that happy couples keep choosing to work through the difficult seasons together rather than seeing difficulty as some sort of proof of incompatibility.
Absolutely.
So another belief that would be better would be that challenging seasons are normal. Our relationship is strengthened by turning towards each other and working through those challenges in a thoughtful way.
Absolutely. All right. Well, now we're done to marriage myth number 1.
We've completed the countdown.
We're down to the countdown, right? Marriage is supposed to be incredibly hard work all of the time.
Ooh, that just doesn't even sound fun when
It
you
doesn't.
said that. Why would I even bother to be
Who
married?
wants to do that? And I see this belief making things tougher on couples than it really needs to be. And often it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. It's like, hey, how you guys doing? Oh, I'm just in the grind with the kids and marriage.
Yeah.
When couples focus on the grind, they miss the joy. Sure, marriage involves some challenging work, like looking in the mirror, growing your relationship, growing up as an individual. But that work is rewarding. It leads to deep, fulfilling connection. There was a study called the Harvard Study of Adult Development, and it was one of the longest running longitudinal studies on happiness, and it spanned over 85 years.
85
Can you
years.
imagine
85
The
years.
data they have on that study?
I mean, these people were going through, of course, from birth to death. They went through having children, going to war at that time.
Coming back
and
from war.
coming
It
back.
was so many things. I want you to guess what the single biggest predictor of happiness was. And it wasn't money, wasn't fame, it wasn't achievements, it wasn't how much I worked. It was our relationship. The quality of our close relationships is the single biggest predictor of meaning, joy, and even our physical health at the end of our life. So I'd love to reframe the word hard to be purposeful effort. An alternative belief would be as follows. Marriage requires meaningful, soul-searching effort, but it is worth it. It leaves us with deep, meaningful, and rewarding connection that will benefit us for the rest of our lives.
Yeah. I love that study. I love that study because it really, it transforms that word hard. Like, oh, I'm just in this grind. I'm just doing this thing and I don't even know why I'm doing it. To like, okay, sometimes, yeah, we have some challenging seasons and there's a lot of growing up that we have to do in our relationship, but it's worth it. Because at the end of our lives, as we look back, what is that one thing that is going to have given us the most happiness in our life? It's going to be that.
Yeah.
Well, that concludes the 14 beliefs that we have for today's episode, but that's certainly not all of the potential unresourceful beliefs that you could have in your relationship. So you might want to just look a little deeper into yourself. We all pick up unhelpful beliefs all the time, but kind of going back to what we said at the beginning, that Kathleen Smith quote, that we shared at the beginning of the episode, that as we become increasingly anxious, what do? We tend to become borrowers instead of builders of our own thinking. So our wish for you in 2026 is that as you deconstruct some of these unhelpful beliefs in your life, that you'll get clearer about what you want, about your own principles and about your own beliefs, so that when those stressful times come, as they come into relationships, you can hold steady with a guiding principle, maybe something that we shared today, or an idea of what kind of a relationship you are actually building.
Thanks so much for tuning into this episode, this countdown episode. Would you do us a favor today? If you found any value from, we'll say, any of our episodes this year, would you take a minute right now to leave us a 5-star review and a comment on whatever podcast player platform that you're using? This helps us more than you might know because the algorithm depends on your ratings and comments for our podcast to grow. And if you know someone who would benefit from this episode, also, would you please just consider sharing that with them? Remember, be kind to each other this week. Put each other first. It's the small things done often that create the biggest impact.
Until next time.